Lads, do you remember a few weeks ago we were talking about the main man?
Oh yeah,
That's right.
I've got a wee surprise for you this week. He's sponsoring the podcast.
nice.
No way.
And I'm telling you, mate, for 70 years this guy's been delivering drinks to people's doorsteps from Northern Ireland, and he's not stopping yet. Do you want to know why?
Why is that?
He's got his own website.
Yes.
It's themainman.co.uk. And you know what you can do on that website? You can go on, put in your postcode, and you can get any type of main product delivered directly to your doorstep. And to make things easier as well, he's launched his own subscription service.
Ooh.
No way.
So you can pay regularly and get Main Lemonade delivered straight to your doorstep. You can choose 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you want. Just go to itsthemainman.co.uk, pop your postcode in the postcode checker, select whatever type of product you want. You can even build your own crate and get whatever you want delivered straight to your doorstep. Bang, bang.
Awesome.
Simple as
Wow,
that.
amazing.
So the link is in our bio for both yous and our listeners / viewers. It's themainman.co.uk. Head to the link in the description, put your details in, and you can get the main man coming back to your door in no time.
Get on it, guys. Check it out.
Let's go. Let's get into the podcast.
The Canadian government was so paranoid about homosexuality that it developed a gaydar. This
Shut
is in fact true.
What?
Like a wee ray gun or something. Yes, quick.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit and drinking wine. Like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. If you haven't already, please make sure follow the podcast, leave a little comment on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Instagram, all the socials, and subscribe to the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube at the moment, hit the subscribe button, please.
Smash that subscribe button, comments.
Shay is
Much
sipping.
Shit, I forgot we were podcasting. How much did you give me if I down the wrestle?
Go.
Think you can?
How long do you think it'll take you to down that?
Timing, right?
Spray challenge.
Do you want to do a full one?
Are you going to be sick?
No. Oh, 'cause that fucking, how much in them later? Later?
750 mil.
750. No. I'll
Right,
do
okay,
this.
down the rest. That's about 500 mil.
500.
I'll time you.
Alright, ready?
3, 2, 1.
Do the swirl and all. Oh my god. Oh god, he's struggling here now.
The eyes are closed.
Is your stomach not?
Oh, Shay! What the flip, man? Holy fuck. That took you like 30 seconds.
Did it? I thought it was like 3.
His eyes
I
are
was
wa-
like, I'm fucking smashing this.
His eyes are water.
Don't try that at home, kids. Oh my god.
Yes, if you haven't,
Tastes good, though.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast because you'll get to see stuff like this.
Shed belching.
I'm telling you, if you are listening to that and you're hearing belching, we're sorry. We're just sipping on Maine, and they are carbonated. But anyway, getting straight back into the podcast, let's kickstart with Tommy's question time. Roll the intro.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
It's Tommy's question time.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 100% believe in?
Who's first?
My one's a weird one. And whenever I say this, I'm not for one saying that I believe in aliens. So I'm just going to put this out there and I'm going to clarify it very, very quickly. This conspiracy that Area 51 is more than just like an airbase, I fully believe that. Because it's just too dodgy to me. It's too dodgy the way they like really try and hide things and like really try and... I get it's like part of it could be like a covert operation where it's like obviously it's been known that Area 51 is a place where they like do all of their spy stuff and all this here, but I genuinely believe that there's just something not right. Why is it so heavily protected? Why is it like, and it just seems to be this anomaly of a place where people are like Area 51. I feel like people just brush over it, but when you actually look into it, like even people going out near it within like 2 miles of it, and within a couple of minutes, there's like people who are like security watching you, your every move.
It's a government military base. That's what they say it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they like test flights and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I think it could be like like we've all watched Top Gun. I feel
Yeah.
like it could be a thing where, you know, the start of Top Gun 2 where he flies this really advanced aircraft.
Mhm.
Part of me believes, yes, it's obviously like that has to be really under wraps. So, you know, with regards to even tensions between
Well, people-
America
people
and
know
Russia at the
about it.
moment, like it's like you don't want them secrets to leak. But I
Yeah.
just feel like there's more to it, and I'm not sure I believe the alien side of things because I think that's a bit bizarre. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I just really believe that there'll be like an exposed something come out, maybe not in our lifetime, but something will come out and there'll be mad stuff
But if
happening
people,
at it. Like.
but people have came out and said they worked on
Yeah.
it, and like people have seen UFOs.
Yeah.
Sure, there was a guy on the Joe Rogan podcast who basically said he worked there, like working on like this like material type thing. Like Joe Rogan's done a few podcasts with people
Yeah.
who are actually like have been involved and stuff. And there's one guy in particular, I can't think of his name, who like he's the guy who said he worked in it and all, and he worked on this like all these like foreign materials, as in like from other planets,
Yeah.
tests and stuff and all, and
Mm.
like trying to figure out how it works and all and how advanced it is. It was crazy, but
Was this the guy who said he had like a UFO sitting on a garage sort of thing and they worked on?
pretty much
Like trying to get
something
up
like
going
that.
again?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said like people were flying it and all.
What the fuck?
So
But then, like, how credible are these people, though?
yeah.
I don't
At the
know,
same
like
time,
the
like, they
likes
could be
of,
just wackos.
I think a lot
You're
of
just, you're just going through and conspiracizing everything.
I think a lot of
you
it-
need
You need
brief,
to
like.
date check them
Yeah.
papers.
It's like me buying that GPU, like. You know, you need to fact check, like. You need to
there's like,
double check, triple check, like.
but I think like he's done so many things where like he spoke about it and all, and I think he released the book and all, like that it is.
It's
What's-
confirmed he works there, doesn't he? He does that. He did
or
or
something
did
like
work
that,
there. Like.
Yeah.
What's one that you believe in?
Project Stargate.
Right.
The CIA makes details of its psychic control plans public. So basically, Project Stargate, as it was known, was the code name for a US government project intended to use psychic and supernatural phenomenon for spying on military uses. In one of the pages in the documents that was released from the CIA, it lays out why the government wants to use it. The benefits include the fact that it is passive, inexpensive, and there's no known defense. Papers show how the organization was looking to harness those powers to spy on people, to make changes to important objects, and all of that would be done by operatives far from the people and things that they were being affected by. So this was like during the Cold War. Like.
Hmm. Is this confirmed?
Yeah, these
What-
documents were released by the CIA.
But what is it?
If you let me go on.
Okay.
The document defines a number of the key terms used by those within the project. Psychoenergetics, for instance, describes a mental process where a person can perceive, communicate, or change characteristics of something or someone that it's separate from that person in space or time. It also describes remote viewing, where people can see things in other places, and telekinesis, where people can move an object that they're not touching. The CIA's files suggest that those in charge of the project did believe that they had some success, but they also note the limits. The project was ended in 1995 when its existence stopped being secret. The CIA concluded that it didn't ever prove useful, and that the facts that seemed to suggest the information was true and had actually been doctored. Information about the project, which ran from 1978, had been known before, but the CIA just released all of its declassified documents onto the internet, marking the first time that people see without doing so in the National Archives. But I found another article. Physicist Russell Targ and Harold Pudoff began testing people they deemed gifted individuals and psychics. One of the best known individuals tested in this first phase of Project Stargate was celebrity psychic Uri Geller. Known for his ability to bend spoons, the CIA recruited him because of his
Spoon bending.
proposed psychic abilities. For 8 days in August 1973, Geller was locked in a room while the CIA did various experiments on him to test his natural abilities. These experiments tested Geller's ability to see hidden drawings, find buried metals, and bend spoons with his mind. As a result of Geller's success, in quotation marks, in this experimental period, CIA concluded that Geller had demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing, ambiguous manner.
So he actually did have powers.
So they believe.
So you believe that there was a project? So what are you trying to say here? You believe that there was people who could
I believe
see things in other rooms that were happening, or do you believe that their project to try
there's
and
people that had like psychic abilities.
okay,
So like X-Men.
Well, not like X-Men.
Well,
like,
yeah.
supposedly.
like you hear about,
But like that's Stranger Things is meant to be based on like some fact,
Is it
where
based
there's
on
people being tested on like for being psychic.
Yeah.
and
I
stuff.
don't doubt that. I think the world's crazy enough to test people for psychic abilities, but I don't know. I just like I
But
struggle.
apparently it all began because Project Stargate was a multi-million-dollar program entered by the CIA at the height of the Cold War to try and get ahead of the Soviet Union on the powers of the mind.
So they've decided, oh, we're not going to win this war. We'll see if we've got any superheroes here.
The CIA believed that
That's a stretch, like.
the CIA believed that the Soviet Union was spending crazy amounts, 60 million rupees annually
Rubles.
rubles to be exact,
Rubies.
on mind reading projects for
lad,
espionage
I've heard
purposes.
enough. I've heard
At least
enough.
they actually had some facts.
heard
You just were
enough,
like, oh yeah, Area 51 is real.
Like you flip me. You've read about. You took about 10 minutes reading paragraphs out there.
At
Like,
least I went to some.
flip me. I don't know. Like, I just find it hard to believe that people. I never took you for someone who believed that.
The facts are there. Like.
The facts are there. You look very confused, shit.
I don't know, like.
You struggled.
I thought you were going to say it was disproved, and then, like, the whole theory was like, oh,
There's a video of your
they've
bike.
changed it, so
There's
there
a
actually
video.
might be.
There's a video of your bike and bend spoons. Like.
But, like, a lot of that's just magic, like.
But he was
Like,
tested
it's
by the
all-
CIA and they said he had some success.
How does he bend them with his hands? Like,
with,
he can do that.
with his mind.
Did they not do? I'm pretty sure I watched a video on like someone who done like a talent contest with like a bunch of magicians and like scientists and shit, and were like people auditioned to show that they truly had powers. So like they met like psychics, like the likes of Dark O'Cora,
Yeah.
like them sort of types, like,
Yeah.
and got them to do their thing, like, and nobody had turned out like in any way to have any sort of real psychic powers.
Yeah.
So they sort of disproved it, like, but.
Have you ever tried to move something with your mind?
No. Have you?
Have you? Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, plenty of
Can you
time.
move it?
I've been like sitting in the sofa one time.
How do you start? Like, what do
I've
you
been
do?
so I've been sitting on a sofa at the time and say that the remote's lying on the table.
Yeah.
I've been like, I couldn't be asked to get up, so let's give this a whirl and literally go. I like really try and focus.
Your eyes like popping out of your head.
like-
Next thing you take a stiffy, like.
Lucinda's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to move it with my mind. And she's like, is it working? I'm like, nah, man, it's not. It's just not.
I don't know. Like, you never know. Like.
Yeah.
Could be real.
Apparently, another scientist evaluated him and said he was a fraud.
Yeah, I think.
See.
Who
And
was,
could
who was
easily
it?
spot the loopholes and inconsistencies in Geller's act that Russell Targ and Harold Pudov had apparently missed.
Mm.
I think that could have been the thing that was. Oh, wait. Have you ever seen the Russian sleep experiment?
No.
Have you ever seen the Russian sleep experiment?
What's that?
Oh my god! If you have time, some night.
To bomb you and put everyone to sleep.
No, it's disgusting. Like.
Yeah.
There's like an experiment they carried out in Russia in like the 1900s at some point, where they put like, I think it was like 6 men in a room, and they weren't allowed to sleep or anything or eat any food, and then it was like a dark room and like there was water or something at the bottom and then no beds like to sleep on or anything, and they stayed awake for like, I think it was, oh no, sorry, it was, they started like putting gas into the chamber, but it was only a small amount that it wouldn't kill them. And they weren't allowed to sleep. They wouldn't sleep or anything, and then like they were awake for like days on end and all, and just to like see what would happen, and then like they just started fucking going mad, like turning into zombies and shit.
Have you ever heard?
It's-
Have you ever heard about that? I think it's like a Chinese torture.
Water
this
drip technique?
water drip.
Yeah.
Where if they like put you,
Drop it
so
beforehand.
you basically they lay you, they like basically lay you on the ground and put like a tap or something above you, and it literally just dripped consistently on your forehead. And apparently after like a while you start to actually go stir crazy. Like, it's mad, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
But
that one there, the people went so mad that they actually started like biting their hands and shit, and like one guy actually ripped his stomach out with his nails. He just started scratching his stomach and all, and pulled his intestines out. But like, apparently after like so many days, they'd become like, they were like zombies, so they didn't really feel pain or anything. And the one guy who ripped his stomach out was like conscious, like felt no pain, was just emotionless. They tried operating on him and all, and like he was just lying there, like he was so like, they took him off the gas, and then like he was just lying there and he just wanted the gas. He was just dependent on it, like, and started freaking out. And then once they give him the gas, he just calmed down. It's sick. Like, go watch it sometime if you're having one of those nights where you're
you just love horror. Anyway, that was a good Tommy's question time. A lot came out there. I feel like that's a bit depressing, but basically we'll get on to the main topic, which is, should you move abroad to live? A question Tommy asked the other day, which I thought was quite good. So basically the three of us has took like three main places that a lot of people from Northern Ireland or the UK or Ireland go to, like, they move abroad. So you chose Australia, Thomas.
Yes, I did choose Australia.
Australia.
So basically, some of the pros and some of the cons. So apparently Australia has high living standards. So wages in major Australian cities can be rather high, particularly if your vocation and skill set is one that is particularly in demand.
Yeah,
You could find yourself earning significantly. I can't speak.
Blah, blah, blah.
You could find yourself earning significantly more than you would at home, even if the move itself is pricey. With Australians enjoying a high standard of life, one of the most highly rated in the world. The con to combat is at the start of 2017, the Australian housing market was considered to be one of the most overheated in the world, with prices in Sydney and Melbourne in particular having risen at a sharp rate since the global financial crisis in 2008. While prices in other cities and towns may be less steep, the fact is that if you want to own your own home down under, you may have to dig deep.
But I feel like a lot of people, though, I've never really heard of people moving to Australia for properly. I've heard of people, like a very few people that I've heard of have like lived, I like know people who have attempted to get like full-time visas, like a full-time, whatever you call that thing where you basically become a citizen.
yeah,
Citizenship.
yeah.
And I know people who have went out and like on like 1 year or 1 year visas, and they'll basically like end up working, like, I think you have to do some type of you have to do
So you can get a holiday visa, a working holiday visa, but when that expires, if you want to extend that, you need to undertake 88 days of relevant rural work. It is commonly known by backpackers as completing your 3 months of farm work.
You have to go out and work.
So basically, like, I think you can get a holiday visa and go over for a certain amount of time. I think it could be like at least a year. But if you want to stay any longer, you have to do like 88 days of work.
And what does that cover you for? Is that 3 years, is it? Or something? Or is that just a year?
I
think then another thing you can do is get sponsored by someone who lives out there, like a citizen.
Yeah, so you can get an employer sponsored visa where like they basically say like they're hiring you and you're going out there to work.
Yeah. I know a girl who moved to Australia for like a year or two, and what part of her rural job was she was just in charge of traffic lights. Like, so there was this one road that only one vehicle, like one big vehicle could come up. I think it was like a quarry or something she worked for. And basically once one person went down, she had to flick the traffic lights at the end to let the other one up. And he got paid bank for it as well. They got paid bank, and they get like put up in a proper nice house and all.
Yeah.
As long as I work in the mines, I think you're out like for 3 weeks or something straight.
And in that heat as well.
Oh man. It actually gets, the thing over in Australia, if it gets above like 40 degrees, or maybe it's like 30 or something, it's too hot to work, so you have to legally be sent home now
Yeah.
Would you ever move yourself
to Australia.
to Australia?
I don't know. I don't really see.
I don't think you could handle the spiders.
Oh, no.
Probably not. I hate spiders. No. It's so fucking scary as well. Like when you actually hear, like, I listen to like a podcast example done, and he lives over there, and like he says like the spiders are mad. Like it's like you need to check your shoes in the morning and stuff. Like. And he's like, you'd even be like walking out into your garden, and like you'll walk through this like massive spider web, and it'll just be like.
Oh my no.
Hundred
I've
things
heard
like
people going out and being like, they've never seen any. Like nothing big, like.
I suppose it depends. Like I think he obviously probably lives in a nice house with like a big garden and all. But like
Yeah.
I'd say like if you're living in like flats and shit.
You might Australia.
But even
proper dangerous spiders too, like they can
Yeah.
kill you. Like.
But then like the thing to say is like there's like an anti-venom for everything. Like nobody's really ever dies from spider bites.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I
but you
guess
have to say what spider bit you like. You have to get the right anti-venom. Like.
Do you?
I
How
know
the
what
fuck
it's-
are you meant to know?
You have to like take a picture of it or
You going in the hospital, pure dying. They're like, "What spider bit you?" Oh, well,
bring it with you.
It had,
It was the black one.
it had jaunting eyes and a red stripe
But
on
there's
its
snakes and all.
breast.
Isn't there snakes too?
Yeah, snakes. Yeah.
You have to know.
Apparently
like,
snakes are so
the-
common as well. Like you have the people have like snakes living under their house and shit.
Oh my
you have to know like the
Shut
colours on like the colours that touch each other
Oh, I'd be screwed.
is depends how venomous they are.
Imagine Ross getting called in. What colour was it? Grey.
What colour was the snake? I don't know. I'm colorblind.
Black one.
Dark grey. Dark white.
I feel like though when you compare Australia to here, one of the big things is I feel like people here love the idea of heat until they get heat, and then they hate the heat,
Yeah.
and then they love over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we love torrential rain, but we also we're acclimatized to in around sort of 10 degrees.
Yeah.
And then you move out somewhere where it's like 30 degrees, and you're like, this is horrible. But the thought of it is nice.
I think you'd be
Yeah.
in so much better form though.
Yeah, you would.
Like I think you'd be in better form because of the weather.
There
like when
has-
you go on holidays, it's so much better. Like, and then you come back and it's depressing.
There has been studies done to show that like increased amount of like exposure to the sun just makes you more like productive, makes you happier, and boosts all these sort of different levels within your body and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it would be good to go out for a year or two, but I think you would miss. I think you miss.
Do you
home.
think you could?
I think I could. Yeah.
I think you would.
Yeah. Like whenever I think about it, Australia would be like. I love the coast. I love the sea. I love the sun. I love the beach. Like I think it would be good. I wouldn't be good with the snakes.
Do you love sharks though?
I wouldn't be good with the sharks.
Mate.
I wouldn't be good with snakes, but like spiders don't really concern me. But to be honest with you, could I see myself waking up in the morning, longboarding down the beach, getting a wee coffee? Yeah, 100%.
Would you?
I think I'd
spend
be-
Christmas there though.
I think I'd be a lot less stressed if I lived somewhere sunny,
Right.
easy going.
I don't
It
know,
seems so
could be
much chill over there.
Yeah.
Like not even over there, but do you ever just go to like European cities like and you're just like
Yeah.
everyone's so chill.
Menorca was so chill. Menorca, they just like they wake up in the morning, they have a wee glass of gin.
Yeah.
It's like keeps them young. You're like 100%.
Alcoholic, maybe.
Would you think you'd lost if you had to spend Christmas there though?
What?
Like, would that be a big hit for you?
See,
I don't think so.
I wasn't brought. I don't know. I wasn't brought up like pure. Has to be Christmas is such a big thing. Like Christmas is just a thing in our house. Whereas like I know Lucinda's family pure love Christmas, and
Yeah.
I think when you're not brought up with it, them things don't matter.
But it's a family time.
Yeah, like even now, obviously with us getting married and stuff, it's like, where are we going to spend Christmas? And I'm like, my ones won't mind. Like as long as I see them at some stage, they won't mind. Whereas I know
Well, if
like
you
her
don't go to
ones.
Do you not find that so weird? It's
Well,
like when you're not like married or anything, it's like, oh, you both go to like your own house. Like.
Yeah.
But like when people seem to get married, it's like, oh, now you just have to go together. Like, what's that
Yeah.
about? Huh?
Yeah.
Well, like, would you and Aoife ever just have the Christmas dinner at the same house? Like?
we'd never Christmas dinner in the same house.
Neither of me and Rona. But like, if you,
Like, I'd go and have Christmas dinner with her, like, if she wanted. Like, it wouldn't.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even care. But it just seems like when you do get married or like have a kid or
It's a
whatever, it's
thing,
like, no,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to make a decision.
I know
here.
lockdown forced a lot of people, like a lot of couples and families and stuff, to actually just do Christmas at home.
Yeah.
And a lot of people actually realise it's class because they
Yeah.
haven't tried anything different. But no, I think I could move away. I don't think I can move away full time, but I think I could move away. You chose Bali, Shay,
I did. Well, you chose it for me.
on the call the other night.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big place for influencers and stuff.
Yeah, so Bali, you'd see like a lot of influencers and stuff going to it, but I sort of did a bit of digging. I was like, why Bali? Like, why not just like Spain or something that's like Bali? But you've got all the obvious things, like things are obviously cheaper over there, but one thing I did find, the tax. That's why they're going. The tax for, this is just the normal people, like what normal like citizens of Bali would pay. So it's actually a lot cheaper than ours. So 25,000, this is all dollars by the way. So if you're in 25,000 a year, only 16%, 40,000, 20%, 80,000, 25, 125, 27%, and 200,000 is only 28%. So that's already quite, that's obvious. That's already quite a lot cheaper than ours. But if you go to Bali to work off your laptop, there's a thing that you can get and you can actually live tax-free. So if you're working from home in Bali and not actually working for like a company in Bali, they'll not tax you at all. So you can just work from your laptop at home, enjoy everything tax-free, probably like save 20% of your yearly wage.
And it's cheap out there as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them places, it's cheap for the nice stuff that would probably be expensive over here. So like I've heard that like the likes of acai bowls, you could probably pick up like an acai bowl and a coffee somewhere for like a couple of £, whereas like the likes of water over here, you could go get 2 litres or even 4 litres for like a couple, like maybe £1.
Yeah.
Whereas over there it's a good couple of £. Like it's probably the same price over here for an acai bowl than it is water over there.
Yeah.
It's like flipped on its head.
Yeah.
It's like overcharging for the essentials, if that makes sense. But I think we've talked about this before. There's a lot of places in Bali you go to like for cheap, like get like villas and stuff.
But you can get like villas and accommodation for real cheap, like a proper nice house with like a pool and all.
Yeah. But that's because the cost of living is obviously so much lower there. Like people don't get paid as much. So that's more like say we went over and we got like a 5-star hotel for like 20 quid a night, like that is sick. Whereas maybe 20 quid a night for someone over there is the same, our equivalent of like say 100 quid a night.
Yeah.
But did a bit of research on yearly wages over there as well for the local people. They get, on average, so obviously you have to take into account like there's people earning less and more, their average pay is $5.36 an hour, dollars.
Fuck.
Holy moly.
Gross before tax. So they could be like on average, like people get paid about $3.50 an hour.
Fuck.
In comparison to here,
that's mental.
Gross is about $18.25. This is all dollars, by the way. So say $18.25 gross. So say 15 quid here compared to $3.50 there.
That's mad.
So if you're going over working wage here, getting that, spending your money over there, you can see why everything is so cheap.
Yeah.
But that's I suppose why everyone goes.
There you go.
So the one I chose to look into as to why people move from like here, like UK or Ireland to is Dubai, because I was having a conversation with someone at a wedding who was like a school teacher, and they basically said that the school was employing them, but they were also like paying for like subsidies for travel, subsidies for food, even like putting them up in like accommodation for a while. And I thought, flip, that sounds class. And I actually looked into Dubai. So obviously you've got the main stuff with regards to moving from like the likes of here, we'll go for Northern Ireland, moving from like Northern Ireland to Dubai. First of all, you've got the class weather, which we've already talked about when it comes to Australia. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah. But basically you've got sunny blue skies most of the year. A big one for like younger sort of people is there's a massive presence of like international companies, like big real estate agencies, banking, hospitality and retail. They're all massive in Dubai. So if you're like quite young and ambitious, you'll most likely land on your feet out there within like a big corporation and work your way up. The big one is obviously, you mentioned it with Bali, but over in Dubai, there's no income tax. So basically any money you make is your own money. So if you did join, say you're working for the likes of PwC or something at the moment and say getting like 32 grand a year, over here you're taxed on that. Whereas over there, that's just take home pay. As well as that, the educational system. So like, I feel like a lot of people, Australia and stuff's one of them ones where you hear of a lot of younger people moving over, and that's it. Whereas Dubai, there's a bit of like you're kind of bridging that gap between younger people, but like mature, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The educational system. So if you did want to stay and actually like raise kids and stuff, the educational standards for international schools in Dubai are quite high, and many of the schools adhere to the British educational system with the national curriculum of England taught in the primary schools. GCSEs and A-level qualifications are a thing over there. They're offered at a senior level. And for those living in Dubai with young children, there are not many differences with regards to the educational standards of like over here. But it is worth noting that if you do move over, non-citizens of Dubai will need to pay for both private and public school education. I don't know, I never got an exact number as to how much that would be, but it would mean if you were planning on like moving like a proper big move where you're like, we're gonna spend the rest of our lives here, it could be one that you would consider.
Is school free over there, do you know?
Not
for citizens?
Not for citizens.
How do
I
they pay
believe.
for that then if there's no like taxes coming out of people's wages and stuff?
No idea.
Yeah, that's a bit sus, isn't it? But if you run out of money in Dubai, you go to jail.
Yeah.
Like you're not allowed to be bankrupt.
Oh,
Do you know that?
no.
No, actually.
Yeah. If you go out to Dubai, I think you have to have at least like $3,000 in your bank account, or else you will go straight to jail.
There's a couple
Fuck
of there's a
off.
couple
I
of,
swear to God.
there's a
What
couple
the
of
fuck?
weird ones, though. There's a couple of
if
weird
you
ones.
literally, sure, they only started letting women drive like a couple of months ago. But yeah, if you're bankrupt in Dubai, you go to jail and do time. I don't know how you get out, because like, how do you earn money in jail then? So it's like
You need to pay
sentence, like.
bail. Oh no, he's just stuck in jail forever. But yeah, apparently, like over there, I think we all see it with regards to videos and pictures and stuff. There's like quite a high standard of living over there, which attracts a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got the big corporations. It's really flashy. You got people going around in flashy cars. Like there's a lot of millionaires and even billionaires and stuff that live over there. Some of the cons, though. So I was looking into this. When you first arrive in Dubai, you need a permit to do a lot of things in the Emirates, such as you need a permit to work. You need a license to drive and a permit to purchase alcoholic beverages as well.
Right.
Whereas like I feel like over here, you know, if someone was moving from there to over here, you probably like land on your feet quite like you could come into Northern Ireland, no bother, and head straight to the pub.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of them like weird and wonderful rules and stuff. Like I was seeing, is it the World Cup? Is it in
Qatar, yeah.
Qatar? So I was even seeing like the likes of, they're charging at the moment like £80 to watch the game, basically like a game, but it's basically they're basing that off £80 and you get 3 drinks, because if you're caught drunk in the streets, you could face like a mad fine and even jail,
Seriously?
like for being drunk in the streets. So like if you're from over here, we love the sauce, like
You're frigged.
you wouldn't be in a good position though. But yeah, so there's a lot of permits and stuff. Obviously I've mentioned it with the heat and stuff. There's obviously the cons of it, which is intense heat. So over summer it can get to over 40 degrees in terms of heat, with the lows being 30 degrees.
Jesus.
So like you imagine, we were in Menorca there,
Yeah.
and it peaked at like 33 and it was pretty hot,
Yeah.
and then it went down to like 22 in the evening, which for over here's, you know, that's hot. But you imagine the heat that I was almost trying to escape from some days in Menorca would have been the heat that I'd been craving in Dubai during the summer months.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy.
I think if you go to book a flight in Dubai, it'll be half the price in summer as it is
Yeah.
in winter, because of the heat. It's
Yeah.
so intense during the summer, because it is in the middle of a desert. No?
Yeah. So they put this, it was a website I read there the other day, which was basically 2022 reasons to move to Dubai, pros and cons. So they said that averaging around £1,200 for a 1-bed flat in Dubai. So
A
they
month?
put one of the cons down as the rent is really dear.
yeah.
So if you want like a 1-bed apartment, it's like $1,200. But whenever you actually look into it, like the likes of New York
Yeah.
and even London, like if you wanted a 1-bed in London, you're paying nearly that amount of money, probably over that anyway.
For
You get a
obviously
box too,
kit
like, you
as
wouldn't
well.
And as well
Yeah.
as that, you're getting taxed.
Yeah.
Whereas you move over there, yes, you're paying £1,200 in rent, but
Yeah.
you're not getting taxed.
Yeah.
Like even if you're living over here and paying £800 a month for a 2-bed flat, you're like, oh, I wouldn't move over to Dubai. It's £1,200. But you're paying tax. You're sacrificing like 100 odd quid a month.
Yeah.
Maybe 150, 180 quid a month on tax.
Be more than that.
100%. So the strangest one, I thought I'd leave this to the last. So right, say if any of us decided to relocate to Dubai, we could not live with the women.
Why?
What do you mean?
So there's a premarital cohabitation
Seriously?
rule. If you move to Dubai, it's Dubai. What they say, while Dubai is a tolerant country, in most areas there is one area that can be problematic for some. It is illegal
Wow.
for unmarried couples to live together. This means that couples wanting to relocate to Dubai could face difficulties if not married. So if any of us decided to up and go to Dubai now, we could not live with, you couldn't live with Bruno, you couldn't live with Aoife, I couldn't live with Lucinda.
That's mad.
I could if we were married, but no, I find that
But
crazy.
that's only if you move there, like
Yeah.
live there, like. That's mental.
Yeah.
And you can stay in a hotel, obviously, like, if they're
Yeah,
not married
oh,
together.
yeah. I think it's like a cohabitation thing. So there must be something in that then with regards to like real estate. There must be something baked into real estate that it's like, are you planning on, you can't buy this house as a, but like, surely, how would you know?
It's weird over there too, though. I seen a thing, they don't actually sell land in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
You ask the government for it. So
Right.
you'll put in like an application to the government, be like, oh, look, I want to build a house. Can I have this piece of land?
Right.
And they'll either say yes or no, and they'll give it to you. Real weird. Like, you don't have to pay anything for it.
Whereas
Seriously?
It's free.
Whereas over here,
If you're-
you'd
only if
have
you're citizen,
to, you have to go through about 50 million hoops just to get a bit of land, maybe
No, it's desperately.
put up
Yeah.
a,
Then
yeah.
when you
We
get
say
the
that.
land, you mightn't even be able to build on it.
I know.
Sure, it's awful tie.
Sure.
Yet.
We're doing it
I
wrong
do
here.
see the reasons for people moving from here. Like,
Be a bit of a culture check, though.
I
wouldn't it?
feel like there's two sides to people over here. You either think that everything you could possibly need is here,
Yeah.
or you hate the place. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is really. I've never met anybody who's like, oh, it's all right, but might go traveling or something like that. There, like, it's either if you go, you come back, and like anybody who I've met or bumped into that's all like lived in Australia or something, they're like, I can't wait to get back out again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like maybe just
I
expand
think it's
your
the type of
horizons.
thing. If you did move out, I don't know if you'd come back. Huh?
Be tough, like.
I don't think I would.
But that's the thing, like, there's two types of people also. Whenever you go away, there's ones who just hate it and want to be
Yeah.
back, like, straight away, and then there's the ones that, like, if you're there for more than a year, like,
There
Like
was a,
if you,
that's you.
do you think
tied
if
in,
you
like.
stayed in San Francisco for like say 6 months, you'd come back though?
I don't know. I think if well, the way I'd say it, like, if you done the full year round, you know what it's going to be like year round. So
Yeah.
if you managed a year and you like doing it, if you liked it for a year, it'd be hard coming back. Like.
Yeah.
I think it's just a case of getting used to it. Like Lucinda's dad, his brother lives in San Diego,
Yeah.
and he always says, that whenever he comes back, he always goes, "Oh, I miss it over here." But then after like 2 weeks, he's like, "I can't wait to go back to the hot weather. Like, I really hate that. I really hate the weather over here." So I think it's like you get used to, like, if you go to, I would say there was most likely a point when you were in America where you were probably like, "This is better at home. I wish I was at home doing this."
Yeah.
Like, even something as simple like I know we went like shopping in Menorca,
Yeah.
and I was like, God, how could you do this all day? You know? You couldn't walk around shops in this heat.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
wee
it's-
things like
it's
that.
You'd probably
in
get
Vegas,
used. You'd probably get used to the heat. Like
Yeah,
I'd say you would.
yeah.
As long as it's not
If-
ridiculous highs, like.
If you were to move anywhere, if you picked one place, if someone said you have one chance, where are you going to move to permanently? Where would you?
Well, if you were to pick
One
out
shot.
of the three that we said,
I
which is the
would-
most appealing?
I would probably pick Australia
I think I'd pick Australia. You know.
for the sole reason of I think Dubai is quite strict.
To live
And it would
forever.
and it would yeah, Australia.
I think it'd probably be Australia as well.
Yeah.
Like, I was sort of between Australia and Bali, but I think it's sort of a bit.
Yeah,
They're a bit behind
think-
there. Like, it's not as like modern stuff. Like, yeah, it'd be lovely to see and stuff. Like, but I don't think like spend your whole life there would be great.
I think because there is so much Irish over in Australia, though, you'd probably feel
Yeah.
fit in better as well. Like you'd probably meet someone you can relate to. If that makes sense.
Home from home.
And the people seem very like similar to what we're
Yeah.
like, if that makes sense.
Australian people are quite similar to Irish people.
Yeah.
They love the soup.
I feel like you'd always be you'd be a bit on edge over in Dubai. Like you'd
Yeah.
always be like, fuck, there's a chance something could go terribly wrong.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I feel like I'd be on edge in Bali too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, like,
I would freak out if I was somewhere that people didn't understand what I was saying.
yeah.
Like, do you know what's really frustrating if you go to the likes of somewhere in Spain and you're trying to order something, and maybe this is a bit of like an obnoxious thing, but it's like you're like, oh, like even something simple, and they're like, they don't know what you're saying, and you're like, oh, Whereas Australia, you would know they'd understand you probably.
Yeah, in Dubai, like it would be such a kick, like pain in the ass because everybody's rich there.
Yeah.
So you'd feel like you just feel like the Mr. Poverty over there.
Yeah.
Like it would be so shit seeing all that, like everybody driving about in their like
I think
supercars and stuff. And
I think it'd be motivation though.
what it though? Like, but you're never going to be as rich as most of those people because they're like
No.
princes
Yeah.
on like
Yeah,
like
no,
their-
fair.
They're old money, like,
Yeah, no, fair.
and then it would just be so.
But
I think it
even
would be
like
demotivating. like.
living in like a 1-bed flat, like.
Yeah, and you can't even be special over there. Like you're not going to be special.
What do you mean?
Like yeah, if you be successful, like no one's going to care over there because
Yeah.
they're all rich
No,
anyway.
that's-
Yeah.
Like you can't, it'd be hard to like
Are you gonna
stand
be,
out from the crowd. Like.
Are you gonna be special over here though?
But it's easier to become like stand out from the crowd
Special
over here.
boy.
Like,
It's easy to become a special boy.
special boy.
Yeah, no.
It's easier to stand out from the crowd here. Like do something different.
Yeah, but then when you
Like
stand
us.
when you stand out
Like,
when
be
you
like
stand out
us.
from the crowd and do something different, you normally get a mass amount of flat stick for it.
You only get stick over
Yeah.
here, but if you do that in Dubai, you get jail or stoned.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. That's still a thing, I think.
Stone.
Stoning is still a form of punishment in some countries. I don't know if it's Dubai, but it actually is still a like government form of punishment.
Let us know in the comments or send us a message if you have been to any of these places and if you'd have any advice. We'll maybe revisit this in another episode, or if you've other places where you think we might consider suggesting. If you're going to move from Northern Ireland to any of these places, where would you go and why? Moving on.
Moving on.
So my Ross's rants this week is slightly different from my normal one. Normally I take a topic which I'm a bit like, I don't like this, or this has happened to me and it's annoyed me, and I give it to the group, and normally you just go, aha, yeah, that's just you, Ross.
Classic Ross.
Moving on. So this week I stumbled across a Reddit page called Am I the Asshole?
Right.
Right? And I find this one which quite, like, it appealed to me. So this girl basically asked, am I the asshole for missing my father-in-law's funeral after my mother-in-law booked my husband first class but me economy? So her father-in-law died, so her husband's dad.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law, the husband's mother, booked him a flight to come home, booked the son first class, booked the wife.
Whoa, slow down. So, who got first class?
The son, this girl's husband, the son of the grieving son whose father just died.
Are they married?
Yes, husband.
Okay.
Right, so father dies,
Yes, his father.
his father died, his
Right.
mother flew the woman and him out. The woman got economy and he got first class.
Did she pay for it? The mother?
Listen, yeah. But listen, right. So me, a female, I don't know why she had to include her age. Me, female, 31, and my mother-in-law don't have a close relationship. She's civil towards me, but can be a bit passive aggressive at times, and we tend to disagree often.
Okay.
I feel like that's standard. We live in a different state. My father-in-law passed away suddenly, and my mother-in-law told me and my husband to come attend the funeral. She booked our tickets to fly to her state. The issue started when my husband told me that we couldn't sit together on the plane because his mum had booked him a first class ticket while I got economy. I was flabbergasted by this. I tried asking him why, but he urged me to suck it up and we'll talk about it later.
Why are you reading it like that?
In that moment, that particular moment, I felt so much humiliation and contempt. I felt like she was treating me as less than even in her hard times. I decided to not go and just go back home. My husband was shocked by my decision to go home and tried to convince me to just go, but I declined. He went alone and I ended up missing the funeral. He was livid, just calling me and texting me nasty things, calling me petty and spoiled. He said that I should be grateful his mum paid for my ticket to begin with, then said that she doesn't owe me a goddamn thing. I argued about how she could have just booked us both in economy if money was an issue, but he called me pathetic for thinking about it when his dad had just died. He said it was cruel what I did and that his mum and family will never forget that I missed the funeral over ridiculous reasons. Am I the asshole for going home over this?
Yes. She is,
So she said
she's
in this,
all anchor,
so
like.
she's tried to basically clarify. People have flooded the comment section and been like, you couldn't, like, that could have been something you raised at a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you've clearly realized that your mother-in-law and you don't get along. You knew that before she booked the flight. So why is this surprising you?
But it's like, it's her husband's dad died, and
Yeah.
she is not going to the funeral over something so petty. Like.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I would get it if it was a visit home. Like, you imagine, like, say we lived, say Belfast was a plane ride away from Armagh, and your ma was like, haven't seen you, Thomas, in a while. Haven't seen you, Shay, in a while. Come on over for a spin. You're like, aye, sure. Me and Aoife have been together for years. We're married. You know, things are serious. You've obviously been to the wedding, hence married. She goes, yeah, no bother. Puts you in first class and Aoife in economy. Now, I'd get that. Aoife would be like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not going. Why could, like, I would get that. But in the certain circumstances, I'm a bit like, you couldn't have just dropped it. Like.
it's the
See,
bigger.
you're not there for the mother-in-law. You're there for your
Husband. Yeah.
and the father.
Yeah.
Like, that's a separate issue. Like.
And she's basically said, one of the reasons I didn't settle for the economy ticket was because I wanted to sit next to my husband and support him. He sobbed the whole ride to the airport and I didn't want to leave his side. I was shocked when he told me we couldn't sit together, and how he said it like he had no issue with
But
it.
that's bullshit. Man.
So
If
she's
she
like-
wanted to be by his side, she would have went.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least he was comfy when he was sobbing.
But like, I feel like that's something a mother would probably do, to be like, oh, you know, his dad's just died. The least I could do
No,
is
the
like,
mom's in
it's
the
an,
wrong as well.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's in the wrong as well, because she knows what she's doing. Like.
she knows what
And
she's
you
doing.
could
at,
almost,
like.
if you want to think really deep into it, you could almost say she done not knowing how she would react, and she wouldn't go. So then that she could turn the whole family against her.
Check me.
This bitch.
I'm telling you, like,
It's fair. That is fair. I never thought of it that way.
Why
But I've stumbled across this. Am I the asshole? And there was some crackers.
Is there
But
any
this
other
was
good
this
ones,
was the. I want to save them. I don't want to just. I just wouldn't
do
want to
them
tell
all,
them
do
all
them
now.
all,
Like,
yeah.
no, because it'll take me ages to find one that's good. Like, you have to troll through the.
Go on, it
the
could be
crap.
my secret surprise.
No, it's fine.
Go.
No, but
Tell me once another
a lot
one.
of people were quite supportive of her. They were like, no, 100%. I wouldn't have let that woman do that to me and all.
that's such.
Mm.
It's such a spoiled bitch thing, though.
Yeah.
So spoiled, like.
But anyway, that's the end of Ross's rants for this week. I'm actually glad that I got your opinion on that, because it was really interesting one. Like, I was reading this the other night and I was like, what a scandal.
So spoiled. Like.
So spoiled.
So
I'll maybe
spoiled.
pull up a next one for next week. For another one for next week. Shay, to see us out at the end of this beautiful podcast, what's your Shay surprise? Surprise us with something.
Is it surprising? Oh, it looks so long, though.
No, they're just different ones. It was based on the conspiracy thing. I've got some conspiracies that actually turned out to be true.
Okay.
Number one,
Let's go.
the Canadian government was so paranoid about homosexuality that it developed a gaydar. This
Shut
is in fact true.
What?
Yeah. So
Like a wee ray gun or something.
see, that's what I was expecting, like a metal detector or something on the end of a gun or something.
Yes.
But unfortunately not. It's more of a test.
All
The
right.
truth, it really happened in the 1960s. The government had a university professor to develop a way to detect homosexuality in federal employees. He came up with a machine that measured pupil dilation in response to same-sex erotic imagery. So they'd show someone like same-sex
Yeah, I
like,
know.
stuff,
Yeah.
and then they'd measure the size of their pupils with a device to tell whether
Right.
they were being aroused or not aroused. The Canadian government used it to exclude or fire more than 400 men from the civil service and the
No
military.
way.
Oh my days.
That's
Isn't that mad?
mental.
That's mad.
You wouldn't get away with that these days, like.
No chance.
But that's ridiculous that government actually used that to, force gay people out of like government jobs.
Oh, they actually sacked them. Like.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
In 2013, during the twerking craze, there was a viral video which featured a girl named Caitlin Heller twerking against a doorway. Have you seen it?
No.
When someone opens the door, Heller then falls on the table with a candle, thus setting her on fire.
Uh-huh.
Not only was this being shared online news and media like CNN were picking it up on the story, while people were having conspiracy theories that the video may be fake, those people were often mocked. Eventually, Jimmy Kimmel came out and revealed that the video was fake, Caitlin Heller was actually a stunt woman named Daphne Avalon. You'd know it. You'd know it if you see
yes.
it. It was
Yeah.
huge. Like she
I
was
remember that. It was ages ago.
upside down on a door, and then the door swung open, and then she fell.
Yeah.
And it was like a clatter, and then like she went on fire. There was a candle on the table, but it was actually fake.
That's mad.
Wow.
I can't believe the Gaydar one. I'm really shocked.
I know.
That's mental.
By Canada as well.
Yeah.
Canadians
They're supposed to be nice,
Yeah, they're
like.
supposed to be nice guys. Like.
Yep.
Canadians.
Good people. That's mad. Not really a conspiracy theory, but I seen this thing the other day on TikTok where this girl was basically like, oh yeah, this video of Kim Kardashian, and she was like,
Yeah.
I think she was promoting like Skims or something. Is it like underwear? But she basically is like lying, and she does this here like up her waist, and obviously Kim Kardashian has the bunda, and they were like going down round her waist, but like you can see her finger warping as she goes down round her waist. It's like, oh yeah, Kim, you've lovely skin. What is this? And then zoomed up, and it's literally like her finger goes like a wee wave.
They've been
It's a
caught out
split
on
second.
So much stuff like that.
Yeah.
You ever see is it like a makeup ad? There's like a picture of all these girls, and they're like sort of posing for like the shoot. But if you look closely at one of them has 2 left feet. So they
No
obviously
way.
like cut the left foot out and then pasted it on, but forgot to flip it.
Oh my days.
And it was on like some makeup advertisement or something. It was up on billboards and stuff. Like.
Jesus.
Big mistake.
Mistake.
Big mess up.
Ah, dear.
Oh no.
But that's it for this week's podcast.
She done.
Thank
She
you
wrapped.
very, very much for listening. If you haven't already subscribed, what are we doing, Thomas?
Hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Smash it.
Follow us on everything. If we've talked about anything on the podcast today which you'd like to send a message about, please do. We'd love to hear from you.
Just do it.
Just do it. And yes, thanks very much to Me and Lemonades for sponsoring the podcast. It's themainman.co.uk. If you want to go on, browse their stuff,
Go cop.
get some
Check
stuff.
it
Go
out.
Go to the
subscribe.
start of the video if you haven't already seen it and scan the QR code. It's my IT wizardry kicking in there. But yes, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.